Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Same Shit Different Day podcast. Today, I am joined with my co-host Patrick.
Patty Daddy.
There you go. And then today, I brought him on to speak about something that we both have in common, which is grocery stores. Currently works at one. I used to work at one, but we did two different types of jobs. You know, I was more of the loss prevention at my store, and you kind little run through of what you do at your store.
Everything. I've done everything. Jack of all trades.
He owns the store,
but not management.
Okay. But with my side loss prevention, I was more of shoplifting. Have you seen any of that, like at your store?
Most definitely. People steal every day. Y'all need to stop stealing every day.
Anything that you personally encountered?
Yeah. There's once there was this guy. He was acting mad sus. I was doing rejects, and he was doing that cliche thing where you whistle. And he was just like, but he had a backpack too, and he was like, and I was like, hey yo, what's in that empty backpack? And then it started getting fuller, and I was like, I'm gonna go alert my homeboys, the securities, and then he was like, I'll keep an eye out. And then I literally saw him look around and then shove something in his backpack. And then I was like, So we have radios on us. And I just switched to the security channel. And I was like, hey, yo, he right here. He right here in the bakery section. Make sure he's headed towards the restroom. And then he was like, and he went in there. And then he came out. Like, I don't know what was going on. Oh, funny, I didn't mention this to you earlier, but cut that. I mentioned, but I was walking back. I was like, dang, I think I just stopped a shoplifter, and there was a lady in front of me. I thought it was just a normal customer, but she was like, she looked back at me like, and then I was like, oh, did you need some help? I can help you. Like, I was trying to tell my coworkers, oh, I think I just stopped the shoplifter, and then she was just in the way, like, of my conversation, you know what I mean? And then she was like, and I was like, do you need some help? And she was like, if I needed some help, I'd ask. And I was like, and then I was like, okay, have a great day. And then she said something under her breath, and I didn't hear it. But then I was like, oh, I think she's with him. And then she was like, she said, get a new job, HOE. And I was like, oh.
And you know that happens a lot. When I was catching shoplifters, more of the time they had another person either outside waiting for them or in the store doing their own thing. And, you know, if they see someone, because they knew about us. A lot of people did know about us, even though we were undercover people. That's what we were called.
Y'all wore like normal clothes.
We wore normal clothes. Like literally,
that's how they do it at Wally.
I would be dressed like this, and sometimes if it was cold, I would just go with, like, in sweats, a sweater, you know, just bummed out, and you know, it's the same thing. They get mad at you for
different day,
and it's the same thing. They get mad at you for stomping their significant other, their maybe sometimes relative.
Yeah, I think it was like her boyfriend or something, or like they're definitely dating. But like at the time, like when she was having that little, it was the other security guard. He was like, oh, he can't handle it. He went to the restroom. And they were in the restroom for a little minute. So that's when this encounter was happening between me and his girlfriend. But she was like, you don't have nothing better to do, get a new job. And I was like, in my head, I was like, get a new hobby. Like, why you gotta steal?
Yeah, and it's crazy, man.
It didn't even make sense. And then like they both came out of the restroom, and he was like, the security guard, you just hear him yelling, don't come back, blah blah, this that. And then like I didn't like they both left at the same time, her and the guy, and then he saw that they were parked in the handicap, and I was like, double stealing twice. And then I was like, dang, that's messed up. But I didn't go near her because like she already
she gonna hurt you.
She called me a 3-letter word.
She gonna hurt you.
But then he told me, the security guard, like he said they got onto a motorcycle parked in the handicapped,
Oh.
and his backpack was too full for her to get on, so she sort of fell off a little bit, and then he came back and told me that he was like that she told him, she was like, oh, it was that FAG boy. And I was like, dang,
They were macking on you.
they were, yeah. And then like he's cool. The security guard, he's so cool. He was like, if he came at me anyway, I was gonna beat him because he has like a baton that is also a taser. And like he said if he charged at me 1 second, I was gonna beat him with the stick and say, "This is for that FAG boy." And then I was like, "Dang, that's crazy. I never been called 2-3 letter words in a different." By the same.
I remember one of the funniest ones I stopped was an underage kid, and there were schools near us. There was a middle school and a high school. I'm pretty sure he came from middle school, and he was there with his friend. And they both had skateboards. And when I brought him into the office, I just thought he just stole like 1 or 2 condoms. Okay.
In middle school?
Yes. So that's, I mean, like a middle school kid stealing condoms already kind of just, why he's stealing condoms.
You're not about to use those.
And so when I emptied out his backpack, he stole a box of 50 condoms.
What is he about to do?
Magnum condoms.
That man packing.
And I looked at him. I was like, what do you need this many for? Do you have a girlfriend or something?
No.
And he's like, no. And at that point, what was viral was that condom challenge where like you're supposed to put he said it was for that.
I believe him.
You're
in middle school.
You're in middle school.
But you don't need 50.
You don't need Magnum condoms too.
He was learning. He's curious. He's like, let me give me some.
And the funny thing about it is, when you're underage, either your parents come for you or I have to call the cops and they have to take care of you. I can't just send an underage kid out by himself after stealing. And so we got a hold of his mom. Turns out his mom is, I think, an Army Reserve lieutenant. Like she was like in the military, and she showed up in her military uniform, slapped the shit out of the kid too. And oh god, it was so funny. But I mean, there's funny things like that, and I'm pretty sure the loss prevention guys at your store also have their funny moments. But
yeah,
a lot of those times were a little bit scary. And what you said that you guys have guns?
Oh yeah, they're all ex-military, and they have the right to carry, but it's only concealed carry for them. They have little backpacks, and they can't have open carry in our store.
Oh.
Not at K. Roger. So
I mean, see that's the thing.
They just changed the law.
You have, I mean, here in Texas, it's easier for you to have a weapon for a security officer because the weapon laws and the bills are loose here. But where I was, I think it was in Utah. Man, they used to have handcuffs, but then they took it away. I mean, sometimes you are as strong as your weakest link. And when your weakest link does something stupid, it hurts everyone.
One bad apple.
And so when I say they used to have handcuffs, is because something bad happened. You know how the museums they say don't touch, or don't touch this, is because someone did it and something bad happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so the story I heard was that one hot summer in Utah, it's dry. Utah's considered a desert. And so in the middle of July, there's this apprehension. That it went past the doors, and they tackled the guy on the concrete. He hit his head. He was bleeding, and then instead of bringing him back in, they just handcuffed him to the flagpole. Not a good look for corporate media. People taking pictures of that goes on the news. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. It did go on the news, and then they had to take that off. And it's just crazy. I mean, being able to have that, I guess, would help, because in that one situation that we were talking about earlier about what happened to me, is that you never know what they have because when you apprehend someone, you're supposed to bring them into an office. So once you catch someone and they're on edge, now you have to bring them into a room with just you and them,
Mm-hmm.
have a conversation, and they don't know what's going to happen next. So they're very nervous. And this one night, we caught a guy, and he was stealing hot dogs, $3 worth of hot dogs, and it was from what I remember, it was a Friday night,
Mm-hmm.
and it was busy. They always schedule a lot of people on those days because
more traffic.
yeah, I mean, it's more traffic.
More foot traffic.
People
more
go to the stores. They know they want to steal something here and there, and so there was. I think it was a full team that day, and me and my mentor caught the corn dog guy. And
you got to go back and edit that. You said hot dogs.
I said hot dogs.
Yeah, corn dog.
Corn dogs.
Corn dogs.
And so we catch the corn dog guy and we bring him into the office. Like I said, nothing bigger than a little bit bigger than this. And there's a bench behind you, and that's where they sit. And you do your computer work here. You look up records to see if they had a record. This guy did have a record with us, and this one, I think that one was considered his third stop. So I'd have to call the police and send them. And at the same time, since it was a busy night, we were kind of like thinking like, cops are going to have to come in here. We're going to have to wait. There's still people out on the sales floor possibly stealing. So we got to think about what we want to do here for $3. Like, do we want to? And ultimately, we decided we had to because it was his third one. And what I'm just remembering now is that we did call them to come first. And they were on their way. And so while we were waiting for the cops to get there, the other team caught another apprehension. And, our team was very big and versatile. We had women on our team as well. And they actually caught more than the guys, believe it or not.
I believe it.
It's crazy because no one ever suspects a woman looking at them steal. And so they always had higher numbers than we did. And so they brought their apprehension in. We're doing our thing, waiting for the cops. The girls leave. I think they went to go have lunch or something. And I think at that point, my apprehension, the corn dog guy, found his opportunity and seized it. Because while we were waiting, I was sitting down. He got up off of the bench and he took his backpack off. I always replayed this moment in my head so many times because I'm like, I should have just told him, hey, give me your backpack. I'm going to set it aside here. I should have done that from the very beginning and just like kind of protected myself in that aspect. Or even when he was standing up, I should have told him, hey, take a seat down, like calm down. But what happened was that he took his opportunity, took his backpack off and reached in. And as soon as I was about to say something, that's when I saw the handle come out, and then everyone was just staring at him. I mean, the other apprehension, myself, the other coworkers I had, were all just looking at this guy. And then that's when we all just heard the safety click. It was like the loudest thing in the room, and we all knew what it meant. And he was serious at that moment, and he just kind of, he pointed to us, kind of like showed it to us like that. And he was just saying that I'm going to leave, and I want to leave. And so I just told him, listen, man, the door is right there. No one's going to go after you. And he walked out the door, and I went to the radio and just said that the apprehension left. He's armed. Do not engage. I repeat, he has a weapon. Do not engage. And so since the cops were on our way, I had to call them again and told them that he just pulled a gun on us. That ups it to an armed robbery. So he didn't rob a bank. He didn't do anything, but he showed us a weapon, which then considers it an armed robbery.
For some corn dogs, too.
For some corn dogs. And so, again, it's the middle of the night. And it's not the middle of the night. It's a Friday night. And this store, again, is like in the back, and it's kind of like a square. And on the side, you have apartments. And the other side, you have more stores and multiple entrances to the parking lot. And we're at this far side, and the apartments are on the right side over here. So he's kind of just cutting diagonally across. And a car, as soon as like he's here and the car comes in here, it's like timed perfectly. And as soon as she reaches here, he's cutting across, and boom, he hits her. And she says like he does like a 360 and just keeps on going. Like he didn't even stop and look at her. He just kept going. and he made his way to the apartments. 5 minutes later, again, the whole thing is swarmed with cops, and there are canines there, firefighters are there, and in all the midst of everything, there's one lady saying, "I hit a guy with my car. What do I like?" You think after hitting someone, and then cops show up all of a sudden, you're like, "Dang, who was it I just hit?
I hit the president.
I hit the president. Like, what the hell's going on?" And so, when we look back at camera, we saw where he went, and when he reached towards the wall, is where we saw a bright flash, and so. K9 went over there, they searched the area, and they found a backpack with a hole in it. So he never put the safety back on. And what I'm guessing is that when he jumped, like to jump over the wall, it might have just like hit his back and
pow. He could have shot his booty cheeks off. He could have
like shot his spine and been done forever. Like he could have just been there until the paramedics came and found him there.
It could have gone so much more south, but it already went pretty south.
It went pretty south.
He got hit by a car.
He was there just to steal corn dogs.
That sucks.
And so he was on the run that night. They didn't find him. 3 months later, I get a subpoena. I have to go to court, and it takes all day. Like I was there at 9 a.m. His case wasn't called until like 12. I was hungry. I don't think I ate that morning because I was nervous.
Should have had some corn dogs.
Should have brought corn dogs. As soon as he came out, we were just holding the corn dogs.
Oh, I bought these.
You want to see the receipt? And it was funny. It's because at that moment when he did come out, like I told you, it felt like a movie scene. Like it's just like I just locked eyes with the man, and I was just frustrated. I was mad because thinking that someone has control over your life and there's not much that you can do over it, it didn't scare me. It frustrated me because I don't like having that anyone being able to have that over me. And so over time, I did, was able to move from it, but it was just difficult and stressful. And even on my next apprehension, I was on edge, Like ever since then, it always taught me to always be on your toes because you never know when it can turn. And never, ever again did anyone ever have a backpack on them when I brought them in. I just looked out for myself. Unfortunately, people still, pulled weapons on me. I had a guy pull a knife on me, and, I have to let him go. I'm not going to risk my life for $15 an hour. And they got 25 because they're vets, right?
Yeah, they're all vets, so I think they make 25 an hour.
And they have
weapons too.
So for me, $15 an hour wasn't worth it. Not getting stabbed, not getting shot. But the same thing with that knife guy. I had a call. I remember this one because they had to actually track him down, and they thought they found him down the street. So the cop had to come back, pick me up, and I had to see if it was him. It was, and they brought his ass back. We, did the whole paperwork.
And that's how he saw you again. Like that's how he noticed it was.
Well, this is a completely different apprehension. This is the guy who pulled the knife on me now, and this is a different guy. This is I think a year past like that one. That was my first time I had a weapon pulled on. I've had tussles, I guess you could say, and I would. Use reasonable force to detain someone, and I do martial arts, so I know how to hold someone and not be worried about myself.
I wish I could be held.
Making me blush here. But I had tussles and things like that. But when you put it to weapons, it's different. You're more on guard that this is potentially life-ending.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's just a regular grocery store. You can almost lose your life.
Yeah, and that's why I called the security. I was like, I peeped something. He ain't noticed I peeped it, but then she noticed I peeped it because I talked about it. I was like, hey, I think I just stopped a shoplifter.
Do you think you could ever do that? Stop a shoplifter?
No. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
You're a lover, not a fighter.
I'm a lover, not a fighter. I like to keep my life, fight or flight. Flight is my choice. I'm gonna fly out of there.
It was honestly intense the first time stopping someone. Like I remember at one point I was looking at my hand and it was just shaking with adrenaline. Not scared, but just so much adrenaline
Like
going
I
through my
feel you.
body. And the thing is that at that point you have to type up a report while it's fresh in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And just to like just seeing your fingers all jittery and just like I would have to tell myself, take a breath, control, let's go. And then, I would be able to do it. And,
That's good.
and there's this one story I wanted to tell you. And I don't think there's any issue with me telling it because it's in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And there was never any lawyers involved, but the lawyers were almost involved. Is what they call it, wrongful termination. Do you know what that means?
Yeah. Got fired for no reason.
I got fired for no reason. And again, it's these weekends. These weekends where like people go crazy. And I think it was a Saturday. It was a nice sunny Saturday. And it's funny how I can remember like what it looked like outside and things like that, but I can't tell you the time of day or what day it was. I just remember it was like on a weekend. It was sunny, and there was 4 of us working, and my boss was working that day with us. And so this one took quite a long time. Sometimes when you're watching a shoplifter,
mm-hmm.
it could be 5 minutes. They come in, they get out, you catch them.
Mm-hmm.
Or in this situation, it took about 2 hours to catch this person.
God, dog.
Watching someone for 2 hours steal gets so tiring. You're just like, how much are they going to steal? And so, to be respectful, there was these 2 heavy set ladies.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that means, right?
Yeah,
big,
gotcha.
big ladies.
Big.
And so, they're stealing in their purse, and they got big purses, and they're stealing things like
big ladies, big purses.
Big ladies, big purses. They're putting makeup, bras. They're even putting on some clothes themselves, and jewelry. Just so much stuff. Even some things from sporting goods they were stealing. So what we do as a team, and we know that there's 2 of them working together, one of them has to be watching the other while the other one is watching. You always have to maintain visual 100% of the time, because
they don't get sus.
Not unless you were good as we were.
Y'all are good, though.
We were so good that we were the ones putting up the most numbers in the whole entire market. Like, we were people that were training other stores on how to catch apprehensions. So we were like, I'm not gonna brag, but we were pretty fucking good. And so my coworker was watching, and she was a military vet. And she was watching the other one, and I was getting the other one. And we're like, okay, this is going to be an easy $200 apprehension for me. That's going to be like a $300 apprehension for you. So luckily, they leave at the same time. I come up, do my thing, say who I am. I'm leading her there. My coworker does her thing, and leads her in there. She's with our boss. I have to get an extra person with me, so I get an assistant manager to come with me. And we make our stop. They have a black lady who they're stopping. I have the white lady. Okay, mm-hmm. That's how we're kind of follow me here, because it's gonna go crazy in just a second.
Okay.
My apprehension, the white lady, decides that at this moment, right before we enter the door, and keep in mind, the other apprehension is about to cross into that door, and they're going to be in there. So we were right behind them. At that point, she decides to start having a seizure, rolling on the ground, saying that, again, screaming bloody murder, saying that she's having a seizure, when she's not really convulsing. There's nothing really happening with her. She's just throwing a fit like a grown toddler. Again, heavy set ladies. When we were walking her, she dropped all of her weight. And I have an assistant manager. He was also a military vet. He wasn't scared to do apprehensions. He knew what this was about. He was holding on to her as well. When he when she dropped her weight, he was still like holding her, and his shoulder dislocated. So
Big lady.
she's throwing a fit, and he's actually really mad. Like he's pissed off that how some military vets when they get like an injury, they actually get more mad and they try to go through the pain. She's rolling, throwing a fit. It's busy in this store. People are starting to watch. I'm looking around. I see my boss and my coworker right at the door. And my boss is backing his ass up to the lady so she doesn't leave.
Because she's almost in the door.
Because she sees her friend throwing a fit, trying to escape. She's like, this is my chance. And my boss was like, nope.
We getting one of y'all.
We getting one of y'all. So he backs his ass up into her and he's trying to stop her. Big lady. And then my coworker, I see her trying to pull her in. They hold her there. But mine is rolling away out the door. She still hasn't got enough. She's rolling away. And the assistant manager decides to kind of put a knee, like to kind of stop her. Mm-hmm. And then everyone is looking. And I'm on the phone with them. And I tell the cops, okay, I have to now speak to medical because this lady is saying that she's having a seizure.
And your assistant manager dislocated.
Well, I didn't know that. Oh. I didn't know that. I just know that I have to call medical attention for this seizure lady because I'm treating her as if it's actually one, just doing everything by the book. And I'm on the phone. I've completely left her alone. I'm going to let her do her thing, but the assistant manager, he's mad. He doesn't want to let her go anymore.
It's like, not on
my watch. So cops get there. They pull out their taser and they tell her, stop. Or I'm going to taser you. Her seizure's gone. Oh. All of a sudden, she's calm.
We'll just start threatening people. That's the cure. Just start threatening people. Just be like, are you having a seizure? I'm going to tase you.
Oh. The funny thing is, they go to the next lady where my boss is still backing his ass up to her. They put the taser to her. She stops as well. Okay, I'm done. And, medical checks them out. They're good. The cop was actually all on our side. They usually are most of the time. And, she was trying to talk shit to me directly, saying that I'm going to get you fired for this and things and that. And the cop was like, lady, you were stealing. Shut up. Like, completely just, like, fucking putting it straight with her. And, he was just backing us up. And it was nice. And so in that situation, district managers decide to look at video and they see the whole thing, cut us because, they think it's easier just to get rid of us than to get national. They thought it was going to get a lot of attention, media attention.
Oh, because everyone could see.
A lot of people were watching. A lot of people had the phones out and things like that. Nothing came to it. And then my boss threatened to do wrongful termination. They got us all back. They gave us money, blah, blah, blah. And then back pay. And then, so I continued working there. But my boss, he got his money, he dipped. And my coworker continued work, the military vet. She continued working there as well.
What about dislocated arm guy?
He got his medical and he never got in trouble. And he was the one that was putting her knee, on her.
Dang.
And I was just like, I had to fight it for, a bit, talking to some, executives, pleading my case. Mm-hmm. And they told us no. And then I think on the second month is when he threatened lawyers. And they were like, we're pussies. We'll just give you money. And so, we got back and, it was just crazy.
It's weird to work at a place that
they kept seeing if I was going to just get the money and leave, and I didn't because at that point, at the boss who I was working for, I had a really good relationship with him.
It was your mentor.
I mean, it wasn't my mentor.
Oh.
No, I mean, she works at a different store, and I would still keep in touch with her on a weekly basis, honestly. and she helped me a lot. But this boss, he was my boss.
Mm-hmm.
I had a better connection with him. You know,
You like
he really
working for
helped
him?
me,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I just liked him as a boss. Yeah. If you ever work for someone that you don't like mind working, like you'll do anything for this guy. Like, yeah, I mean, I know how you are.
Yeah.
You respect me. Like I have a good work relationship with you. I wouldn't mind working anywhere.
I feel you.
And I did. Like he changed two different stores, and I followed him because I'm like, I don't want to work for another boss doing this job because this job is very stressful, and he understood that, and so he always helped us out with that and things like that. There was one time me and him got in a tussle with a professional bull rider. He said he was a professional bull rider, but we grabbed his fucking ass and we took him in, and there was just things like that I knew he was down for anything. I guess you could say, and I enjoyed working for him, but the probably the story where like I felt like I was robbed myself was there was this when you look at people you kind of tell that they're doing some type of drugs, and I could tell that these people were either on heroin or just some other type of just like deep drug, like fucking hard drug. And meth. Yeah, that's the other one. Heroin and meth. And
can we say that? Can we say this on this?
It's a drug. Yeah.
You guys do drugs?
And so that's the reason why I kind of was just like keeping an eye on them, but I was still looking around the whole store to see if there was anything else. I think it was just me working that morning, and I told my boss, like, hey, there's this really fishy guy. He just went to the back bathrooms, and he has this like purse with him per se. And
is it a fanny pack?
No, it was like a case, a zipper case.
Oh,
almost like a CD case.
I know what you mean. Like they go zoop, zoop,
mm-hmm.
zoop.
Yep, like, the zoop zoops.
Three zoops.
Three zoops.
Two short, one long.
Two short. But he had that with him, and I just didn't feel safe. And so there was people saying that they were hearing noise from the bathroom. So I called the cops. I'm like, hey, can you send a deputy down here to do just a check in my store? I feel like there's something going on, possibly someone doing drugs in the bathroom. So they come down, they bring a deputy. As soon as I'm walking down there with the deputy, he sits away from that zipper bag that he has. So we saw him put it to the side. We bring him in. We knock on there. There's a girl in there. And we bring them both, and in that zipper bag was 0.5 pound of methamphetamine. The biggest drug stop that department has ever had. And it turns out that crystal was something that the state has been tracking for a while now. And so I had to do a whole bunch of like video backtracking, looking at what vehicle they had. They actually had a third person in a Winnebago. And they fucking drove off, almost like fucking Heisenberg. Like they were. Oh, you don't watch that show? You've never seen that show?
I don't know that.
It's Breaking Bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they made meth in an RV.
I know that much.
Yeah, and so
I know the guy with the glasses.
It was like Heisenberg, that type of shit, but they weren't anywhere near as smart because they were getting caught
at Wally World.
Exactly, and so the deputy has to call that in to his lieutenant or his supervisor, and he was getting all the praise from his other friends and everything. His lieutenant came. He's like, "Great fucking job."
All he did was show up,
and I was like, literally, like, bruh, like if it wasn't for me, you guys wouldn't be getting that shit. Like I helped out, and they didn't give a fuck. Cops sometimes don't. They're
just be a cop.
Cops, no, because what told me I didn't want to is when that guy pulled a gun on me.
Oh.
Even though I don't want someone's life, like someone holding my life, I don't want to hold someone's life as well.
Yeah.
I don't want to be able.
That's too much power.
It's having a target on your back nowadays. Yep. Honestly, being a cop is very like scary. Like it's either one or the other is gonna come after you. Yeah. So like you really have to like it's a lot of stress, and I don't think I would like that. You know.
Me neither.
If anything, I would be a firefighter. helping people.
Yeah.
I'd enjoy that more.
The only thing you'll have to fight is the fires. They
You're still like,
they don't have guns.
They don't shoot you with fire. What are you talking about? You can do that.
Wait, dragons shoot fire from
You gotta worry about that. You gotta worry about that.
You gotta worry about that.
There's one more that I wanted to tell you. This was because literally this world of shoplifting took me to a whole different other. It showed me what is really out there. And another thing that shoplifters do is they do credit cards. Right? That's crazy.
They steal credit cards?
No, I'm sorry, gift cards.
Oh, yeah.
They load gift cards,
yes,
right?
I'm
pretty sure they do that at K. Roger.
Yep, K. Roger.
And so we caught on to this 2 Asian guys that kept coming into our store and loading gift cards. When we caught them and apprehended them, I didn't think it was going to go this deep, because when we caught them, they said that they were working for someone. They didn't want to take the fall. They said that this guy was driving us around, telling us to load these gift cards, and he was going to give us a percentage. So at that point, I'm thinking, like, we got like the grunt guys, but there's actually a head guy out there doing a whole fucking scheme. All of a sudden, we get messages. I think my boss got a call from an FBI agent saying, hey, those 2 Asian people that you caught, we've actually been tracking them through their database, and they've been making their way across country, loading gift cards. So at one point in my shoplifting career, I was working with the FBI.
Your life's a movie.
Right, bro. It was freaking weird. Like, I'm like, there's no way that it was just people loading gift cards. And it turns out it was like a whole entire fucking thing with the FBI. And they were trying to, find these people for the longest time.
And you busted another one.
And so since we got the 2 guys, they used those 2 guys to figure out the more. I mean, they are only going to tell me so much. So I don't know what happened after that. But hopefully they had caught the big guy, the big fish.
Head honcho.
The head honcho. But yeah, man, the world of fucking shoplifting.
What's that Asian version of head honcho?
Buddha.
Oh, no. Cut that out.
But honestly, that's all I had, man. There's a whole bunch of other stories, but that's all.
It's not shoplifting.
It's not shoplifting. I mean, it's crazy, but I left that life because it was just too stressful.
Too much for me.
Yeah, but honestly, that's all I have. Do you have anything else there?
No, sir.
All right.
I don't catch shoplifters.
You don't catch shoplifters. You just catch
one. The one couple.
Hearts is what you be
catching hearts.
Okay, everyone. Again, I've been your host, Sacramento, and this is our co-host. Say your name.
Patrick. Patty Daddy.
If you want to reach us or send us any questions, any topics, or even if you want to come onto the show, please reach us on Twitter at SSDD_podcast. Or you could just search up Same Shit Different Day. Of course, there's other episodes on Spotify. If you guys want to listen to them, we'd very much appreciate it. Share with your friends, share with your family, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Deuces.
Bye.